The breaking news of Yu Menglong's tragic death hit the world like a thunderstorm. In just a few hours, what started as whispers online turned into a full-blown movement that no one, neither fans nor the authorities, could ignore. The beloved actor, once known for his gentle charm and artistic sincerity, had become the face of something much bigger than fame. His death sparked a wave of outrage, silence, and awakening across China and beyond. For years, Yu Menglong had been a quiet force in the entertainment world, respected, admired, yet often misunderstood. He wasn't the loud type. He didn't chase scandals or chase headlines. But those who knew him said he carried the weight of something unseen: pressure, control, and the unspoken pain that came with fame in an industry ruled by politics and image. When the news first broke, his agency issued a short, carefully worded statement: "We are deeply saddened by the passing of our artist Yu Menglong. We ask for privacy during this difficult time." But fans weren't satisfied. The message felt too controlled, too polished. Questions started flooding social media. What really happened to him? Why was the truth hidden so fast? Who was trying to silence the story? Within hours, hashtags like #JusticeForYuMenglong and #WhatReallyHappened began trending across platforms, not just in China, but worldwide. Fans translated his past interviews, searching for clues, trying to piece together the puzzle of his final days. Clips of his old performances resurfaced, showing the same calm smile. But now, viewers saw something different behind it: a quiet sadness. Then came the leaks. Anonymous insiders began posting cryptic messages online. One claimed that Yu Menglong had been preparing to expose something about the entertainment industry, a hidden network of exploitation, manipulation, and censorship that many had whispered about for years but no one dared to confirm. Another insider mentioned that he had recently been warned to stay silent about a certain project involving government-backed investors. He reportedly refused, saying, "If I stop speaking now, what will my voice have meant?" That quote alone became a symbol of defiance. Within a day, artists, writers, and activists began using his words as a rallying cry against censorship. But just as the movement gained momentum, something strange began to happen. Posts about Yu Menglong started disappearing. Hashtags were blocked, comments deleted, and fan accounts suspended. It was as if someone wanted to erase his memory altogether. Yet, as history has often shown, silence only fuels rebellion. Western media caught wind of the story. CNN, BBC, and Reuters began reporting on what was now being called China's biggest entertainment censorship crisis in years. Thousands of people marched online, protesting not with violence, but with art, poetry, and shared memories of Yu Menglong. Fans lit virtual candles, and digital murals of his face appeared across global platforms, accompanied by one phrase: "Silenced no more." Inside China, it became dangerous to even mention his name publicly. Yet, in private circles, his story spread like wildfire. Influential directors and co-stars began subtly showing support. One of his closest friends posted a black screen with the caption, "He spoke for truth. Now we must speak for him." Meanwhile, overseas fans took action. A massive online petition called for a global investigation into the circumstances surrounding Yu Menglong's death. Activists created a campaign under the title #SilenceNoMore, urging international organizations to hold those responsible accountable for the cover-up. Within 2 weeks, over 10 million signatures were collected. The movement transcended borders. It wasn't just about Yu Menglong anymore. It became about every artist, every citizen, every voice silenced by fear. Rumors also began circulating that Yu Menglong had left behind a collection of letters and journal entries. Some close to him claimed that these writings contained evidence, details about the internal pressures, the political manipulation of scripts, and the emotional toll on actors forced to portray propaganda-driven roles. Although none of these letters have been publicly released, whispers of their existence alone ignited something powerful: a hunger for transparency. Fans began calling him the artist who tried to tell the truth. The Chinese government, in turn, labeled the growing movement as foreign interference. But no amount of censorship could stop what had already begun. Protests erupted in major cities like Seoul, Tokyo, and even Los Angeles. Fans carried banners reading "Justice for Yu Menglong" and "Silence is complicity." In the middle of it all, His last recorded message resurfaced, a video he had filmed for an upcoming fan meet that was never released. In the clip, he smiled softly and said, "Don't let fear stop you from being honest. Even when the truth hurts, it heals." That message broke millions of hearts. Soon after, major international celebrities began sharing his quote online. The movement evolved into a cultural awakening, forcing discussions about censorship, artistic freedom, and mental health in the entertainment industry. Film students began organizing screenings of his past works. Critics revisited his performances, calling him a soul too real for a system built on silence. Months later, documentaries began surfacing, unofficial, unapproved, and uncensored. They pieced together interviews, fan testimonies, and leaked messages, slowly exposing the darker side of fame that Menglong had tried to fight against. And now, every year on the anniversary of his passing, fans from around the world hold an online vigil. They light candles, play his music, and post his words, "Don't let fear stop you from being honest." What started as tragedy became transformation. What began in silence became a global voice. And through it all, Menglong's legacy continues to remind the world that truth, once spoken, can never be silenced again. He may be gone, but his voice started a new era, an era of courage, change, and freedom. As the weeks turned into months, the story of Menglong refused to fade. What started as a single tragedy had now become a movement echoing through every corner of the world. Despite the government's attempts to suppress it, people found ways to speak, through songs, artworks, anonymous essays, and coded messages online. In quiet defiance, Chinese youth began writing his name in subtle ways, embedding Menglong into digital artwork or graffiti, using it as a symbol of truth and remembrance. Each hidden mark was a whisper against fear, a quiet rebellion that said, "We haven't forgotten." Outside of China, the movement exploded. In Seoul, fans held candlelight vigils in front of the Chinese embassy, placing flowers and handwritten notes that read, "Justice for you." In Tokyo, banners stretched across the streets, showing his portrait with the phrase, "The voice they couldn't silence." In New York, activists projected his face onto buildings during the night, turning city skylines into digital memorials for a man who had dared to stand for honesty. The phrase "silence no more" had now transcended borders. It was printed on shirts, echoed in speeches, and painted on walls. Influencers, actors, and artists around the world began openly discussing what his story represented, the dangers of control, the cost of fame, and the unseen weight that public figures carry under censorship. But back in Beijing, the situation grew tense. Government officials tightened control over media coverage. News outlets were banned from mentioning his name, and even fan accounts that shared old clips of him were taken down overnight. Yet somehow, the fire wouldn't die. Every time a post was deleted, 10 more would appear somewhere else. The people had found their power, and Menglong had become their symbol. Then, something unexpected happened. A whistleblower claiming to be a former staff member from his old agency came forward. Using an encrypted channel, the whistleblower released what appeared to be voice recordings, conversations allegedly between Menglong and senior management. In one of the recordings, a calm but firm voice, believed to be Yu's, said, "I can't pretend anymore. The audience deserves to know what's real. Art isn't propaganda, it's humanity." Those words hit the world like a lightning bolt. Within hours, clips of the audio spread across Twitter, YouTube, and Telegram, translated into dozens of languages. Hashtags like #LetArtBeFree and #YouMenglongSpeaks trended worldwide. People didn't just hear an actor, they heard a human being standing up for truth, no matter the cost. Within days, Chinese authorities called the recordings fake, labeling them as foreign manipulation. But by then, it was too late. The people had already made up their minds. Whether real or not, the emotion behind those words reflected a pain that millions understood. Meanwhile, fans uncovered something else, Menglong's final project, a short film titled Echoes of Tomorrow. It had been shelved by producers before his death, reportedly for being too sensitive. But leaked footage revealed a hauntingly prophetic story about an artist trapped in a world of lies, struggling to make his voice heard. The ending of that short film showed the protagonist staring directly into the camera, whispering, "Even if they silence me, "My truth will live in the hearts of those who listen." That single line sent chills down everyone's spine. It felt as though Yu had predicted his own fate. Fans began circulating the unfinished film online, calling it his final message to the world. Then, months later, a new surprise emerged. A letter, said to have been written by Yu Menglong just days before his death, was anonymously published by an international news outlet. The handwriting matched his past notes, and the tone was heartbreakingly honest. He wrote, "If this message finds you, know that I tried. I wanted art to mean something again, to remind us that beauty should never be controlled. If I can't change the system, maybe my silence will make someone else speak." That letter shattered what was left of the silence. Within hours, millions of people around the world reposted it. The words became a global anthem of resistance, of honesty, of courage. Suddenly, the narrative began to shift. Instead of being just a controversial case, Yu Menglong became a symbol of truth in art. International film festivals started holding panels discussing censorship in Asian cinema. Artists began dedicating their awards to him. And streaming platforms quietly re-uploaded his older works, describing them as the legacy of a fearless artist. Even those within the Chinese entertainment industry, long fearful of speaking out, began finding subtle ways to honor him. Some used his initials in upcoming scripts. Others dedicated entire projects to those who spoke the truth. His closest friends avoided direct references but used emotional metaphors that fans immediately recognized. And in early 2026, something remarkable happened. A group of underground filmmakers released a secret documentary titled "Silenced No More: The Truth They Tried to Bury." It pieced together footage, interviews, and leaked documents, exposing how his story had been manipulated and why. Though banned in China, it spread through encrypted apps, viewed by millions overnight. One of the final scenes in the documentary showed a montage of Yu Menglong's performances over the years, his laughter, his tears, his quiet strength. As the music swelled, a narrator said, "He wanted truth. They gave him silence, but silence can never bury the truth." That line echoed across the world. Even months after his passing, new movements continued to rise in his name, movements that fought for artistic freedom, transparency, and mental health protection for public figures. And so, Yu Menglong's story became something timeless. He was no longer just a beloved actor or a tragic loss. He had become a mirror, reflecting both the beauty and the darkness of an industry, and the courage it takes to speak when no one else dares. As one of his fans wrote on a memorial wall in Seoul, "They silenced his voice, but they forgot echoes never die."